That's where that comes from.
Oh, yeah.
That was like the original ones were like little tiny little squares.
All right, you gotta say that again. Wait, so how did they make the first Nike shoe?
It was Phil Knight ran track at Oregon, I think.
Oregon State?
No, like Oregon.
Yeah, the Ducks.
The Ducks, yeah. Oregon
The
Ducks.
Ducks.
The Oregon Ducks.
Oregon
What's
Ducks.
that?
Like the school.
College.
That's a school?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
We
Yeah.
play them in like a few
Couple
weeks.
weeks, yeah.
Oh, we
A
do?
month-ish.
The Oregon Ducks. So that's different from Oregon State University. Is that a
Yeah.
school?
Oregon State
Oregon
is the Beavers.
and they're orange and black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oregon Ducks are green
So
and
their
yellow.
school, is Ducks just their mascot or it's
Yeah,
called
yeah,
the
yeah.
Oregon Ducks?
No, it's
No, the
the
Ducks
mascot.
is the mascot, like how we're the Wolverines.
Yeah, I mean, I
but-
understand what a
uh-huh.
mascot is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Phil Knight ran track for them, and then his coach, Bill Bowerman, they decided to come up with a new shoe. So they used like Bill Bowerman's wife's waffle maker for the sole.
How does that work?
I don't know, they just used some kind of
They-
rubber.
I
Okay.
must have talked to like a chem engineer or like a material
Something like
science
that, yeah.
engineer, right?
You guys are smart. You guys are engineering majors. First year,
Uh-huh.
1 month in. I mean, I'm sure you guys know enough.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I could make a whole line of shoes if I wanted.
Well, you can make race cars, though.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me
Yeah.
about that. I'm racing. We're 1 month in. I feel like, is this just me or I feel like I'm like really behind?
I have done nothing.
I've done nothing.
I've also done that.
I was gonna go in yesterday to a cane lab so that I could like CAD it up and try to design something. But it turns out like the project I was working on, someone already finished. So
Which project is that? For you're in
Uh,
Drivetrain, right?
yeah,
Did
so
they
I'm
And you're a suspension.
Yeah, I'm suspension.
uh,
They actually finished it?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
But it's not like they finished it. It's someone's made a design for it already, and I'm gonna like still try to make a design for it.
It's good to
Like,
practice. It's
Yeah,
like you wanna have
practice,
something
and
going.
maybe his has flaws. Mine will probably have flaws, and then multiple people putting it together. It works a lot better than just one person.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the cooling lines between each motor.
Cool. Well, I would say 3 weeks ago I had no intentions of ever working with race cars, and now I'm building a race car technically with the team, and I hope to get deeper into that. But so explain to me more like the project you worked on. So I guess we can start with an overall view of like what Drivetrain is. So from my understanding, Drivetrain is working on the mechanical power portions of the car, right? Is that a good way to describe
Pretty
it?
much. The way that they told me about it between Powertrain and Drivetrain. Powertrain is everything that powers the car. So in a typical internal combustion car, like most of the cars on the road, it's going to be the engine, and that's about it. Everything else, like between the engine to the wheels, that's going to be your powertrain. So transmission, axles, drive shafts, brakes, that's all drivetrain. And then in an electric car, it's, everything beyond the motors. In the Formula SAE car, there's 4 electric motors. There's one at each wheel. And the powertrain's going to do the battery and the motors themselves and the lines that run between the motors and the batteries. But then drivetrain's going to do, there's these little tiny transmissions between the motor and the wheel. That's just planetary gears, because the electric motors on the car spin to like 21,000 RPM, which if you put that on a wheel would be like faster than the speed of sound. So you can't have a wheel going 21,000 RPM.
They have no torque.
Yes, and
It's
that's the
just
other
straight
thing.
RPM, it's no torque,
Yeah.
so you're not going to go anywhere.
So
How does that work? So with the no torque piece.
Like the torque.
it's just how the electric motor works. Like there's
Okay.
it spins super fast, but there's no
But
torque.
it's not
in it.
why is it not generating torque?
It's a great question. I couldn't tell you.
Is it because there's like no friction in the system? Because
It could be.
yeah.
Okay.
So it converts like just that super high RPM into
Mhm.
like you can move weight with it instead of just like
Yes.
spinning super
I see.
fast.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about suspension. So that's I know wheels is a portion of that. Steering
Yeah.
is a portion.
So
of that.
they like we're in charge of ride height. Handling is a big part of it, because when you take a turn, you got to hit the right angle and you got to lean so much and make sure nothing breaks. But what I'm working on is a quick jack system for the car. So what? So basically, it's just gonna slide under the car, and because right now they just have one person at each wheel lifting, and then putting a little stand under there, and they want to see if we could, like,
Manual.
yeah,
Without
not
manual.
yeah, without manual labor.
Incredible.
Yeah,
So you guys have been into cars your whole life.
pretty much.
And have
yeah.
you guys? When did you guys first meet?
It was the Meet Your Class Instagram page.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
So I think
All the way back then.
he made a little post, and then I was like, I need a roommate.
Yeah.
And then it
And
worked.
do you guys know at the time you both like cars, or you just found that out when you got here?
We knew.
I put like in my bio thing or description for the Meet Your Class post, like I like cars. And,
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
How would you describe that fascination? Like when you see a car, like what do you feel inside?
I started getting into cars in like freshman year over COVID. I bought an old truck with my dad, and like that's when I really started getting into cars. So it was $300, and then we paid a lot to fix it up. So then, like, we just worked on it together, and that's where I got interested in cars. Like when I was younger, I liked cars, but it wasn't really like a big thing to me until that moment when I had the hands-on experience with it.
I have always liked cars. I would like annoy my parents when we would drive around, and I would just point out like a cool or interesting car, and I've done that forever. Like even still, I'll walk around or something, and like a Porsche goes by. Actually, there's a lot of cool cars in Ann Arbor. I was not expecting that.
The
but,
guy with the McLaren that just drives
yep,
downtown.
like straight piped
I think I've seen
McLaren.
that.
You can hear the turbos spooling. It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just always liked cars. My dad would always take me to the North American International Auto Show in Detroit. That's every year in January. It's super fun. I will
Tell
go
me
to
that
that again.
experience.
He works at Ford, so he's a mechanical engineer there. He designs cars, and he's liked that. So then it kind of just carried along with me. So I've always liked that kind of stuff, and a lot of times he'll go to the auto show so he can see competitors' cars and see what they're doing and different solutions they're using to get around a problem, so that if he didn't think about that when he was doing his stuff, now he can. And because it's always a competition. You want to be better than what everyone else is building. So if they're doing something better, you want to figure out how that is, right? It's called benchmarking, and you do it a lot, like just looking at another car. It's super cool.
Amazing, yeah. So when you talk about your fascination with cars, you said that your first experience with that pickup truck and building that pickup truck and fixing it, basically.
Yeah.
So when you think about like interest in cars, like is there something in particular that excites you about it? And is like a specific car that you really like a lot? Because on one minute we're working with pickup cars and we're working with race cars. I'm sure they're really different in how they're designed in many ways, but at the same time they both have the foundation of being a car. So is there like a specific type of car or a model of car that you guys are really interested in, or is like do you find that fascination like how everything comes together, how the pieces come together, or like what about cars in particular is like exciting?
I'm big into Dodge Daytonas, which were made like 69 and 70, and they were. Have you ever watched the movie Cars?
Probably have.
Like the
I'm gonna
you
pull
know,
up the Dodge Daytona.
You know the King with the big wing.
Yeah.
So he.
Wait, say that again. The King with the big wings.
So look up a 69 Dodge Daytona.
Strip weathers.
Or I was just thinking the actual one, but yeah,
We'll put up on the screen as well. So
That's
Yeah.
the
the rest just
character's
wanna hear.
actual name.
So these cars were made for NASCAR during that time.
Gotcha.
And for NASCAR, it had to be a production car, so it had to be for sale to the public. So they only made 500 for sale to the public with these huge wings and these nose cones that were
It's
ridiculous.
incredible. Yeah.
But in the 2 years that they were legal, they destroyed NASCAR, and so they had to ban like huge wings, and
What about the car made it so deadly?
just because the aerodynamics of it, like no one had ever thought to put something like that on a car, because the wing,
Just this back part?
yeah, the wing and the nose cone too helps a
Oh.
lot with like the aerodynamics of it. So like I like the history of it because it broke the land speed record down at what was it?
Bonneville?
Yeah, Bonneville Salt Flats, and like just that they decided they're like, okay, we're gonna take
So they
over
banned
NASCAR.
it from NASCAR.
Yeah,
The car model, but also the design
the model
aspects of it.
The model, pretty
Okay,
much.
just as
yeah.
model. So were cars like now in NASCAR? Are these parts allowed like today in NASCAR?
They don't have.
If you
wings.
look at a NASCAR, there's going to be a little, like,
it's like a duck.
yes,
Duck.
a little bit of a wing, but it's not, a little bit of a spoiler, sorry. It's not a
Yeah,
big wing
spoiler.
like that.
Yeah.
reason they have that wing, do you know why they had it on there? Why they made it so big?
I mean, I don't see anything here.
No.
Oh, I see very tiny.
Yeah, just a little.
Just that little thing.
The reason they had the wing on the Dodge Daytona is because it had to be a production car and you had to be able to open the trunk.
Yeah.
So they wanted to
made
have
it that big.
They wanted to have a wing, but you couldn't have a wing unless you made it that big so that you could.
So it was
physically-
accidental.
Pretty much.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And that nose cone, like you could see that kind of line around it where they literally just bolted it onto the actual grill. You could take it off and it would just be the regular.
Because before that, like NASCAR cars they were production cars, but they were just really, really worked on. So this was the first car they actually built that was just a NASCAR car that they then sold to the public so that they could use it in
And
races.
that's really what it's transformed into.
Yeah, now, because you can't, like they have like Toyota Camrys in NASCAR, but it's not a Camry.
So what are the
it's a
stock
flat-
car.
Yeah.
What are the rules in terms of like, are there like more strict regulations now on like how you design a car for a specific competition like NASCAR Formula 1, or is it's still like this flexibility in like how you design these vehicles?
A lot of the rules are going to revolve around safety. In Formula One, you can pull up a car right now. They've got these halos around the drivers, which a lot of people criticize at first, but there have been a lot of drivers that like would have been dead.
So when you flip the car, you're not scraping on your head. You're scraping
that's a
on
safety
that.
piece.
Yeah,
Yes, it's like a rollover bar, like why you need it in a Jeep or a Bronco, like
So-
how you
sorry.
can't just have the windshield.
So basically, if this car tips over, your head is hitting this like soft portion here. Or
No,
driver-
the ground is hitting.
the
yeah,
ground.
it's
That's
the
the space
support
between.
structure.
There's a
Yeah.
space between the ground and your head.
Yeah, because
Gotcha.
like earlier F1 cars never had that. And
You'd be crushed. You
Yeah.
would have been dead.
Yeah,
there
I'm
hasn't-
sure it's probably very dangerous. One of the most dangerous sports.
It
out there.
was like since they've added that and they've done a lot of other safety features, there have been very, very few like actual bad injuries. The last death was in 2014 or 15, and it happened like 8 months later after the crash. It was like in a hospital. Right?
What happened to that guy? You remember?
No,
I can pull it up.
that's right. Like that was almost 10 years ago. So
Well, this is 2014. You said. Let's search it up.
2015 maybe.
2015 Formula One death.
Yeah.
That's Jules Bianchi.
Yeah.
Okay, Jules Bianchi. He said he's a British Formula One driver, died on July 17th from injuries sustained in a crash at the 2014 Japanese Grand Prix. It said he was in a coma for 9 months. Okay, so was he in a coma like directly as soon as the...
Probably. I haven't looked much into it. I just know that.
There was heavy rain that day?
Oh.
Would they have the meet still go on if there's heavy rain?
Yes.
Okay.
There was another big instance they had that was in like 1976 with Niki Lauda, who was an Austrian who raced for Ferrari, and it was at the Nürburgring. And the Nürburgring is a very, very, very dangerous track, and it's like this.
Oh, shoot. I think I see it.
Yeah. Like you can't see, and it was super rainy, and he didn't want the race to happen.
This is, sorry, 96?
76?
76. So it's raining in this video.
Yeah.
Ooh. Holy fuck. That's bad.
Yep. So he had really, really severe third-degree burns. He barely got out of the car.
Surprised he got out of the car.
mask
Holy
after
shit.
that.
Yeah.
Was there a death in this case? No,
He survived, like, miraculously.
What was he injured pretty bad?
He's
He
the one
was-
that wore the ski mask after? Like it
I
was like
think so.
a couple weeks after that, right?
So he was given his last rites in the hospital, which that's when
You're gonna
Catholic priests will go in, give you your last rites, and it's pretty much like you're gonna die, and this is your final words. Well, anyways, he had like skin transplants from other parts of his body to go onto his like head where there was the most
The wound and everything.
damage, and then 6 weeks after he got into the crash, he was back into the car and racing again.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with people that they just can't like be away from the thing that brings them that much purpose in life. I mean, there's so many examples like that, like athletes and everything. They just want to be back.
Most people would have been done after that. Like he was pretty much given a second chance to live, and he's back in a race car 6 weeks after that.
And like completely healed. Like
No.
He had like a ski mask on.
Yeah.
There's like a famous picture of him wearing it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
He came in second in the drivers' championship that year after missing like 3 or 4 races.
That's incredible, man. Determination to do that.
And I think the year after that, he won the drivers' championship.
Wow. I mean, what kind of skills go involved in terms of like winning these races? So like how much of it is just in the vehicle, like who has the best vehicle design, and how much of it is in the driver? Is it like equal, like they both play a big role in this, or how would you describe that dynamic?
So I like Formula One a lot because if you really look closely at all the cars, they're all a little bit different. And the fastest cars this year is McLaren, they don't have the fastest drivers. They have really good drivers, but not the fastest. But their car is easily the fastest. So they have really been starting to gain a big lead. But then, like, you can have a good driver and a slow car, and you're just not going to score any points, and it's never a good time. So it's a lot of both aspects, really, which is super cool.
But then F1 drivers are like bred. Like you're racing
Yep.
from like 6 years old.
Wow.
Like you have to be. Or else
Like
you're
everyone?
not.
Oh yeah, and you almost buy your way into it
Yeah,
because
you
there's
have to be
this.
rich, 'cause-
Well, one, you have to buy a cart, right? Like to
Be
go
able to try.
karting is how you get into it. You do go karting and then
What's karting? Just like is that the name of the car? Or
yeah, like a little go kart,
go kart? Gotcha.
Yeah.
like
Mario Kart.
Yeah.
pretty much. And then there's like different Formula series, which is like a Formula car, which is open wheeled like that. There's like Formula Europe, Formula everything pretty much. And then there's Formula 4, Formula 3, Formula 2, and Formula 1, which are all like FIA.
Are these different
supervised.
levels? to
Yes.
it? Like competition difficulty?
And then
Okay.
FIA is just the like governing body who kind of runs almost all international racing. But you have to have this like special license to be able to race in Formula One. So it's like you have to be a good driver and you have to pay for this license. So
It's crazy.
it's a lot of money that you have to throw at it.
Do you guys know how to get that license? Like, what's the process of that? Is it
No idea.
you have to like take some
Yeah.
tests and everything, or like
I think a
driver's
big
license?
part of it is the cost.
Yeah, like it's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, my friend, he has a pilot's license, which I think it's part.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
yeah, he got it when he was
Really
17.
I want to
which
do
is-
that.
Yeah,
I think it'd be really fun.
I think the thing with airplanes, like driving airplanes, is a hard task, especially like dealing with even just like being. I mean, I guess you get used to it after a while, like being
Yeah.
up in the air all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely know that. I just look at flight attendants and the fact that they have to do this day in and day out. Like, it must
Yeah.
be such a difficult
It's
job.
insane.
But I feel like when you're actually there, like driving an airplane, like it must be such a surreal feeling.
Yeah,
But-
because then you're locked in. Like you have to pay full
Yeah.
attention to it.
Yeah, but that'd be incredible. It's like I've ever seen like the drive panel of some of those
It's
airplanes.
insane.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like I'm glad that you need a good license to
Yes.
be able to fly a plane because it's so complicated.
I'm pretty sure there's different types of license as well, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
I think he's legally allowed to drive another person, but not a commercial flight. Obviously.
Oh,
Yeah,
not at
commercial
all.
flight is like a pretty severe
Uh-huh.
license.
yeah. You have to go to school for a commercial, like actual school.
Western Michigan has a really good flight program.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's a Western, like the college, right? Western, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. I mean, I know one of the most dangerous parts of driving an airplane is clouds, which I don't even know.
Yep.
Like, would you consider that? Like, was that the first thing that comes to mind when you think about the danger of an airplane?
I would
I would think landing.
landing
my
and
first
just
thing.
all the instruments and controls. I feel like looking into a commercial airline, like just seeing all the controls.
It's like brain numbing.
what does everything do? And
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to start.
The reason the clouds are so dangerous is because you can easily tip over without realizing it.
Oh.
So a lot of what Alex Katova, I don't know if you know, he was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. First Michigan podcast, actually, we talked about this. So when you're basically in a cloud, within 10 seconds you can flip around,
Really?
and before you know you're going like nose deep
Uh-huh.
down, and then you like by the time you find out you're like fuck, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure landing is also difficult, but I don't know if it's as difficult as
Yeah.
trying to maneuver a plane that goes psycho like that.
I know. I never even thought about that because, like, I've traveled a ton, been on planes since I was like 6 months old, and I've flown through clouds. I always thought it was cool because it's like, oh, you can't see out the window anymore. But like,
Yeah.
dang.
I guess you didn't realize that you can't orient yourself.
Uh huh.
I wonder how gravity would feel like. at that level. Like I'm sure that if it does tip over, you kind of realize it at some point, right?
Right?
Yeah.
But maybe it happens so quick. Like
Yeah. And like the air's thinner. So
that too. Yeah.
Beats me.
I have a friend that's gonna be a fighter pilot.
Ooh.
He's at the Air Force Academy.
He's at Air Force?
Yeah. So he's got
that's
4 years
amazing.
of school and then like 9 years until he actually becomes a pilot after that.
It's a long process.
Yeah.
Not as bad as med school though.
Not as bad as med school. No.
It's crazy.
He'll be in there for it's at least 13 years.
Wow, that's amazing. And what were his did he want to do this from the beginning, or did he just watch
Yeah.
like Top Gun Maverick and change his whole mind about life?
So he's really big into airplanes. Really big into and he's always wanted to be a fighter pilot. So he worked the Air Force Academy application is insane. Like you have to start pretty much like 2 years before and just congressional nominations, all this and that. So he's been working at that forever and then he's there. So it's pretty cool.
Incredible. How would you compare the difficulty of driving a race car?
What do you mean?
Like,
To what?
I think like the process of getting a license for like an airplane would probably be difficult. But how easy do you think it is for a normal civilian to pick up racing or driving a race car? Because I think the hardest part is probably that you're driving such a speed that controlling the vehicle would probably be hard. But what other aspects of it do you think is like difficult about learning to drive a race car?
Have you ever felt like a simulator, like a car simulator?
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't think so.
the cars, it's not like driving an actual car. You don't have power steering. You don't have all this. So it's like, it's real choppy. And I know, even just driving a simulator, I have a really hard time handling that, you know?
You know what a G-force is, right?
Yeah, from like physics.
Yes.
I remember
So,
it vaguely from when I took physics junior year.
like in Formula One, a driver just going around a corner, which you do at least 10 times a lap, and there's like at least 50 laps a race. So at least 500 times a race, just going around a corner, you feel like up to 3 Gs, if not more. Like, so right now I feel 1 G, you know, one.
Can you define G again?
It's the gravitational force that you feel on your body, or it's the unit of force, and 3 Gs would be the equivalent of
3 times they're described.
yeah,
Wow.
pretty much.
So that would feel pretty intense. Like you're, is it? How would you describe that feeling? Like the feeling of like you feel the momentum of like yourself moving around, or like how would
Yeah.
you describe that feeling of the
Or-
gravitational force?
You've been on like a roller coaster,
Yes.
right? Okay, going around a curve or a bend or something, how you feel like you can't move at all.
You get crunched up.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's the feeling. So
Ooh.
imagine that, but you've
5
got to
at a time.
control a car, right?
Man,
So that's super hard. And then just the aspect of driving around the track the fastest and going the shortest distance around the track, because the track isn't as narrow as a car, right? It's super relatively wide, so like you can be on one side or the other, and there's so many techniques to try to, like if you want to go around a corner and you turn super sharp, you can't go very fast. But if you go on like the outside of the track, go back to the inside and then the outside again, it's
you're always thinking about that too.
yeah, it's like a shorter turn so that you can go a little bit faster.
That's crazy, man. So how old do you have to be to get a license for driving a race car, or can anyone with a normal license like?
I think it's not even like dependent on your driver's license. It's
Okay.
like just it pretty much says you're allowed to compete in these kinds of events, right? And it's not dependent on stuff like your physical driver's license.
What about
or whatever.
age? Because you said that people start training when they're 6. Like, what are they doing when they're 6? They're not driving a race car when they're 6. So
It's like a
They're go-karting.
go-kart.
Oh yeah, you did mention that.
Oh,
Gotcha.
very small, like from me to you.
Okay,
Tiny little engine.
I'm sure that's a lot more easier to control.
Yeah,
But
because
they're kind of just getting used to it.
Slower too.
yeah.
Okay. Is it a big jump going from that to race cars? And like when people have been training with that their whole life, like do they feel like how big of a jump it is when they start training with like actual race cars and everything?
So
It's kind of like a transition, right? You go
Yeah.
from small car to medium car to F1 car.
Okay. So like slowly upgrading along the way.
Yeah.
there's even more steps between.
Well,
that,
yeah, I just-
right? Like
Yeah.
Also, what's the difference between NASCAR and Formula One? Are they just 2 separate competition bodies, or is it
Yeah.
location based?
NASCAR's all in the U.S. and North America, and Formula One travels around the entire globe.
And they started in Europe, right? I believe.
Yeah, and it's a different type of car too. NASCAR is a little more strict on the type of car. Like it's pretty much you use the same engine and same transmission and maybe axle for everybody, and then like the body of the cars are largely the same, and then like the livery will be a little bit different. So NASCAR is more heavily like driver based. Who's the best driver? Formula One is, there's two separate championships in Formula One. There's a constructors championship and the drivers championship. So the driver with the most points and the constructor with the most points, and every constructor has two drivers. It's so weird.
Whoa, that's interesting, man.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Wow. When you guys look at your future, you guys mentioned that right now you're studying engineering. And when I first met you guys, I think we were sitting in the dining hall, you guys mentioned that you really want to get involved like with cars even with your occupation. So when you like close your eyes and envision like the road down, like what parts of your career do you think are going to integrate with this? Like what parts you're looking at?
I don't really know what I want to do like as a career. I know he for sure wants to work in the auto industry, and I'm leaning towards the auto industry. I find it interesting, but I just don't know like where my place would be in that. So I really want to like work for myself and own my own business, and I don't know how I could implement that into the auto industry if I could. If I can find a way, I will. But I don't know. I'm just kind of exploring. That's why I'm doing this, to see what my options are. Yeah.
Amazing.
Just something with cars. I'd like to work for an auto manufacturer. I've always, I don't know what it is, but it's always like a drive to work for something big and, you know, be a part of something big. Like I never wanted to go to a little college. I always knew I wanted to go to a big university like Michigan, like something that people would recognize and be like, oh, wow, okay, he does that. So I applied to all D1 schools except like one, which is like Kettering University. It's just a little engineering school in Michigan.
Right? I think I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's an hour or two.
I met someone who knows someone going there.
Super small, but they're a good engineering school. That's a smaller school, but yeah, I and like even going into a career, I want to be a part of something big, pretty much. And whether that's like a Formula One team or another kind of race team, or just working for a auto manufacturer making like regular cars.
Yeah. I mean, whenever I look at successful people, they didn't have like a clear plan on what they were doing.
Yeah.
But I feel like everything someone I do look up to had was just some kind of vision of like something that makes sense in their head, right? And for you, like that theme of big maybe has made sense. I don't know if your whole life or more recent years, like that theme maybe keeps coming back. And, you know, you might just have the vision that, you know, I just want to work with cars.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. I don't know what the hell it's going to be.
That is the career path I have. I want to work with cars because, you know, there's obviously everyone wants to make a lot of money, but I couldn't see myself doing something that I didn't actually enjoy because I would get so bored. Like, it's such a big trait I have in myself because I will put so much time and effort into stuff that I really, really care about. Like, I've always loved math. So, like, doing calc homework and stuff like that has never been a problem for me because I enjoy it. But then, like, writing a 4-page essay for English, I dread. And I always, like, push it back to the last minute because I just didn't care about it that much. And it wasn't, like, my passion. You know, I got it done. I put effort into it. I tried my best, but I didn't enjoy it, and it wasn't, like, fulfilling.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, I'm really goal-oriented, and always have been. So if I, like, set a goal in my head, I'm going to get it done, no matter what, and I won't stop. So, like my goal is probably to work for myself, and it's not as big of a thing, you know, like, but I want to be able to, like, have control of myself and be able to achieve my goals while on my own time and on my own schedule and on my own ambition. I don't want to have to, like, do what someone else is really telling me to do, you know.
So you're in search of that freedom.
Kinda, yeah.
And, like, every step of the way is working toward
and, like,
that.
Bringing in, like, what he said, like, I'm very passionate about what I'm passionate about. But if I'm not passionate about it, I'm not going to do it as a job. Like, yeah. I almost, like, refuse to. So that's why I want to make sure what I'm doing is something that I love, so that I am able to put that passion in and give my best.
Yeah, and I feel like when you're doing something you don't enjoy, like, you just feel like you're trudging through snow. Like,
yeah.
It's the last thing you want to do, just fighting through it. But I think I'm definitely I think it takes time to figure out even what that is.
Yeah.
Right. And it's amazing you both have that clarity in such a similar way as well. But I guess everyone's just looking for that clarity, and I guess every step of the way they're looking for some kind of conviction. But I think the powerful thing is that when you have conviction in yourself about something, it always ends up being true. Like, I think the one analogy in my head that makes a lot of sense, that's kind of similar to what we're talking about here, is that if you told someone 100 years ago about some of the things we have access to today, like they wouldn't believe you as something that's possible, right? And because of that, I think that sometimes you believe something so deeply in your heart, even if it makes complete nonsense sense or it seems so distant, that it ends up just becoming true somehow.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my dad told me a story that stuck with me. Was that when he was younger, I mean, he didn't have much money. Like, the family that he was living in, they lived in some small village in India, and he would collect stamps because he was obsessed with stamps. And every time you see a stamp, you see all these countries like Sweden, Switzerland, all these amazing places around Europe. And, you know, he would collect these stamps. He told his mom, you know, one day I'm going to visit all these countries. And I don't know, this is back in, the 80s, 70s, where transportation wasn't even that, like, the world was not interconnected at all. Like, you need to not only have money, but be, like, super upper class to even visit these countries or be in some kind of, like, military or something that's traveling around. Like, it was difficult to travel around. And, I mean, if any, like, 10-year-old kid at the time told their parents, I'm going to visit every single country on these stamps, like, it's just like they kind of shut it away.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, for him, it's like he had conviction in him that he just, like, kind of knew it'd be true.
Yeah.
It's like a weird feeling. Like, I feel like sometimes when you sit down at night, like, you kind of know that one day you will have that business.
I'm a huge believer in that. Like,
Yeah.
It's a feeling about anything. It could be about school. It could be about your personal life. You know when something's going to happen, and it's like not destiny, but like you know that that's going to happen, and you work towards that. And if you are willing to work towards that, you're going to get it done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you guys believe in destiny?
I think it's what you make it. I think it's how much you put in. You know.
What do you think?
The camera did something.
That's fine.
It like rotated. It's not blinking red anymore.
It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. The GoPro is a little interesting.
Yeah.
Camera. Not the best for podcasts.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We'll make it work.
works.
Camera's camera, man.
Yeah. What do you think about fate?
I consider myself a decently religious man, so
Yeah.
You both Christian?
God has a plan.
yeah, right. Like,
You have to believe in that. It's like when you go through rough times, how do you not believe that, like, okay, you know, you're going to get through this?
like it's almost soothing to just
Yeah, to have something to lean back on.
take yourself out of control, take a step back, and you know it's going to be okay. And everything's going to be hard at some point, right? Like, life's not just lollipops and rainbows. You know, you got to go through hard stuff, because that's what builds you as a person and makes you who you are. And we get these kind of like tests almost, and that's really what makes you. And I like it because it's like it shows me I can do it, right? Like, just keep your mind to it, and okay, I got into Michigan, right? That's a pretty big feat. Not a lot of people do that. So it's like, if I can do that, what else can I do? It's motivation and a drive and like a hunger to do more.
Do you guys ever have that feeling when you look back? It's like, how did all those things come together, and how did that happen?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I felt a lot more recently.
Yeah.
Tell me, what were you gonna say?
I went through a lot, like in like middle school and early high school. I've had 3 injuries to my knee. I've had 2 surgeries. So like looking at those times when for 8 weeks I was in a wheelchair, and like I had to relearn how to walk again, and like going through that, and like I've been through that. I'm like, okay, I can do this. You know what I mean? So like that's really taught me that like that's why I'm a big believer in like you can do anything you put your mind to. You have to do anything, and you can't give up, because like now I'm at Michigan. I've been dreaming of going to Michigan since I was 6. So being able to be here after going through that, like you look back and you're like, okay, something's going on now. And if classes are hard, in 4 years I'm not going to care if my classes are hard. I've been through that. I can go through that. I'll get through it. I'll get done what I need to get done. Life goes on.
Well, how old were you when you first hurt your knee? And how did that happen?
Once in 7th grade, I was playing football. I dislocated my knee, and I tore the cartilage off the bottom of my kneecap, and I had to screw it back in.
Wow.
And I was in a wheelchair for 8 weeks. And then sophomore year football, I did the same thing. I dislocated it, but I just went to physical therapy and got back.
How quickly?
like 2 months recovery for that time.
When were
And
you on
then-
crutches, wheelchair, or just walking? Or
Kind of crutches for a little bit, like assisted. And then the third time was sophomore year baseball, and I like jumped this little fence and my knee went out again. So then I
you
had
jumped
to
the
get
fence as in like you were like trying to get somewhere. And you kind of,
yeah. There was it was a small fence and it shouldn't have happened, but it just like
tripped.
showed me that I needed stability. So I have someone else's tendon connecting my kneecap from here to here, like
Wow.
keeping my kneecap in.
when you think back to 7th grade and that first injury with the wheelchair, I think that when people think about that, there's like 100 different ideas they have and why it could be so hard. My real question is, what was the hardest part about it? Because the thing that jumps into my mind as the first thing is socially.
Yeah,
But is that what you'd say is the hardest
that
part?
was
about it?
definitely a hard, because transitioning from elementary school to middle school is already hard enough, and then people treat you differently when you're different, you know what I mean? So like I was in a wheelchair, and like a big thing was there was an elevator at the school, but you could only take it if you were in a wheelchair, if you couldn't climb the stairs. So people would like pretend to be my friend so that they could ride the elevator with me, and then as soon as I was out of the wheelchair, like just people stopped talking to me. So like I had to go through that and like realize, okay, that's like when I realized like, okay, like I've had the same friends since like 5th grade, so I've kept that circle close because I'm like, okay, they're not gonna,
Yeah, they knew the old you before that.
yeah, they don't switch up, you know what I mean? So
At least you had that. going
yeah,
with you.
socially it's definitely a hard part about it.
Wow. It's insane, man. I mean, how does that change your... I mean, you've had all perspectives now because there's some people who have disabilities that have to live with that their whole life.
Yeah, that's why you have to be thankful for what you have, because it's another, like my friend that's at the Air Force Academy, he always says, you know, it could be worse, and that's how you have to live. Like you should be grateful that this is all you're dealing with right now. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I'm stressed about class.
Could be worse.
That's all you're doing. You know, your leg could be broken. You could not have legs. You could not have an arm. You could, you know. So like you have to believe that like you have to be grateful for the position you're in, because it could always be worse. And some people are praying to be in the position that you're in right now.
Sure glad all that happened.
I'm glad. I wouldn't change it, because
Because
now
it
I
gives
am.
you perspective.
Yeah, now I am where I am. I made it where I want to be in life. It's not how I wanted to. I quit playing football and baseball and stuff like that after.
Upper year classmen years?
Yeah, and I didn't want to, but life works out. Here I am.
God, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Grant? How was your high school experience? I mean, fuck Noah. I always mix up your guys' names. I feel like I've done this twice already, like in the bathroom. So I'm just like, see one of you, I say Noah or Grant. Like I know your names. I just like mix it up. I'd say the wrong name.
I went to a very small high school, and where I'm from, almost everyone went into the trades or just to a community college. It was actually really interesting because there was like 5 people from my graduating class at Michigan right now, which is pretty insane. That doesn't happen very often. But there was, you know, there was 120 people in my graduating class. So if you didn't find your people, you kind of got screwed. And I had friends, but they weren't like the greatest friends ever, and they weren't really who I would have picked if I got to pick my friends. But they were solid, you know, and just, but they weren't really my friends, I guess. I don't know.
What was lacking?
Like
similar interests.
Yeah, like I have always put school first because my mom went to Michigan. She got her doctorate here. She multiple other degrees, and she was like the valedictorian of her high school class. So she's incredibly smart. So she always held me to like the highest standards ever for grades. Like middle school, high school, I'm below an A minus. I got like a text from my mom like, "Hey, get that up. Let's
I
go."
got the same text.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And like my friends, they're smart, but they were smart in middle school, and then kind of high school they just, I don't know, didn't put as much effort in. COVID kind of screwed them up because they got used to not having to put any effort into stuff, and so yeah. And then I mean, I thought COVID was fine. I thought it was completely easy. I didn't see a problem in working online or anything. I don't enjoy it. I way rather be in person.
But you weren't like severely like.
No, not at all. Like I had a 4.0 that year. It was,
Yeah.
it was
I used
really
it as
not.
like time to work out.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Great.
Like,
You're working out early is great.
Mm-hmm. But this is a little dumb, but another big thing, I was never allowed to have video games.
Okay.
Okay, as a kid, my parents thought it was dumb just to sit all day on like a console, just staring at a screen, which
spent a lot of
is
years
valid. So a lot of my friends were able to connect over that, and I couldn't just because I didn't have those. Like,
Did you ever want
outlets.
to have it?
Of course I did. I was a little bit of a crowd chaser when I was younger. I someone else had this, so I wanted it, and I wanted to be
We're all
like
like
everybody
that.
else.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to realize that everyone else has all their own problems, and people might look good on the outside, but it's also great to be yourself. An original is worth a lot more than a copy. So, yeah, I don't know.
I think one thing I want to dig deeper into, I mean, I have a million questions there, but I think there's a weird thing with friendships, because your friendships are your world, because it kind of acts in a bubble where when you're surrounded by these kind of people all the time, you think that's what people are like and you generalize it.
Yeah.
And that's where it gets weird. And I think when there's a feeling of lack, which maybe you feel a little bit throughout the time you're friends with these people, but maybe you don't realize it until after, or maybe you feel it in moments, but then like you always shut it off or brush it off.
Oh, yeah, I completely get that. Like, another thing was, I valued school, but I also wanted to have like a good time outside of school. I loved sports too, but there just wasn't other people at my school like that, like at all. It's if you played like any sport, you pretty much took the basic blow-off classes, and you might have had fine grades, but that's because you took the easiest classes. I always challenged myself with classes, and I also liked doing stuff like sports, and I was in the drama club, and I was in marching band too, but I never was able to like find other people like that. And I would hang out with like this group of friends because they like to have parties, like hangouts and stuff like that, and have a good time. But like looking back, it's like that's why I did it, and I wanted to have a group of friends, and that's why I hung out with them. It's not because they were a good group of friends, or I enjoyed
Going solo
them.
ain't easy, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason to either. I think when we look at the ideal friendship or friend group, I think there's 3 things that go into it, at least from what I've reflected on. You can see if that resonates or if you want to add anything, but I think the 3 pillars are: pillar 1 is interest and activities, pillar 2 is values, and pillar 3 is humor.
Yeah. That is so true.
So
Like,
I think with the interest activities, I find a lot of people who have same interest and activities, but then like either humor's lacking or value's lacking. And it's like, I feel like it's weird because like we do the same thing, but like we don't like each other. And
It's
the
really
weird thing is like I found people with same values, and I used to think values were the only thing that's important. Like my junior senior year, I found people with the same values, but for some reason I didn't enjoy being around them that much. We didn't have the same humor. And humor, I know humor we think about like laughing, but it plays a big role in.
They all.
It's like
it's like your personality and how you go about
yeah, I mean,
things.
maybe
almost.
personality is a better word because humor goes into like the energy between you
Yeah,
guys. And,
exactly. Like someone might be able to take a joke, but someone else might not. I think all 3 of us have a similar humor and personality in that regard, and that's why we get along so well. But other people just they don't.
I was thinking friendships though, like you said, what humor, values, and
interest/activities.
interest. I think like you don't all have to have an equal amount of the 3. You know what I mean? Like some friends are more funny, and some friends have. Like I know, like me and my friend Larry, we were more of, and my friend Tanner, we were more of like the.
And one of these at the Air Force or no?
Yeah, Larry's the one at the Air Force. We were the more like school based, and then my friends Seth and Tanner, like they're more like humor, and there's nothing wrong.
And you
with
like that balance, like you feel like socially like fulfilled.
It works well, yeah.
I wonder if you've ever found someone who has all 3.
I don't think exactly. I don't think anyone's
Close, but not exactly.
Yeah.
That's another reason I wanted to come here is because there is 3,500 people in my town, and like I talk to other people. Like, I'm from a small town. Like you said, I'm from small town California. I'm like, how many people in your town? What is it like?
It's like 50,000, but that's because we're a commuter town, so like everyone drives an hour.
That's not a small town. Small town is.
We don't have small towns in Jersey. Everywhere you go, there's people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You been to
'Cause
Jersey,
it's
guys?
So yes.
I think I have, yeah.
It's pretty congested.
It's so condensed. It's so populated. It's condensed. Like, but yeah, I don't see a lot of opportunity where I come from. I love it
Yeah,
because my
there's-
family's there. Big on family. I love my family. But other than that, like, I'm not gonna.
Family's the only thing that ties me to my hometown.
Exactly.
There's nothing there. I have friends. I can see them outside of. And like I say, small town for the same reason. Like there's just no opportunity. Like there's, what, like 20 times more people than there is in his town, but everyone's dad has a farm, or everyone works in agriculture, or they work in San Jose.
Gotcha.
Like no one goes. I went like the furthest for school, pretty much. So then like no one branches out, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because I think what you were describing, Noah, earlier was that you like to work hard and grind at things. Like you're one of those like high testosterone like grinders, and that energy is some energy I like as well. And when I meet people who have that energy, I really enjoy being around them. But it's like weird because like first of all, you need to find people like that, which maybe you in your, how many people in your graduating class?
120.
Yeah, maybe in your 120 people you're with, like maybe there were in middle school, but then with time, like it's like annoying that no one's really trying anything.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like, you think 120 people is a lot, but I have been with that same 120 people. Not same. Like, you take the people that have come in and the people that left, it's like 100. And then I've been with those same 100 people since everyone since like middle school, and then a lot of them since elementary school, 13, 14 years ago. So once you know people for 13, 14 years, you get to see who they are. And like if you get kind of tired or bored of someone and they're not really like your friend, there's nowhere, you can't turn to anyone else because there is no one else. Like there's just, I got like bored of the people around me. And that's why I wanted to come here, because 50,000 people at a school is so much more than 500.
Yeah.
And a lot more opportunity as well.
How's that played out for you guys? First 7 or 6 weeks? We're in the middle of the first term. It's
Yeah.
pretty wild. But how's that played out for the first couple of weeks?
Like big school.
Yeah, big school, like in terms of like meeting quality people that.
I think I've met a solid group. I don't like to party. I don't really like to drink or anything, you know. So I stay in, I go to the gym, I do my own thing, and then when I have free time, like games, hang out with him, hang out with a couple other friends, and I'm good with that. Hang out with you, you know, see you in the dining hall. I'm content with where I'm at when it comes, because I feel like once you invite so many more people in, you can't handle it. You know, there's already so much to handle when it comes to school. I don't have time to handle all these more relationships, you know. So.
How about you?
I've always been weirdly extroverted or introverted, like
In between.
Yeah, such an odd in between.
When I'm out, I'm like, you know, I have a good time, especially when I'm like out with, like back home at parties and stuff. Like I'll have fun.
Yeah.
know, and I'll talk to people.
You can flip the switch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a switch. I'm sure you feel this.
But it's a total like social battery thing too. I definitely need to be around people. If
Yeah.
I was by myself 100% of the time,
That's
I'd go
pretty
crazy.
miserable. Yeah.
And I hate when I do that. Like I did that over the summer. I'm terrible at texting people. So like I never, because I also didn't have good enough people to hang out with. Like, hey, let's go do this or something. No, I like went to work and hung out with my girlfriend. I love my girlfriend.
Yeah.
But you know, it's also fun to hang out with other people too. And I'm glad that I was able to find that here, because I can find good quality people.
Yeah. That's interesting, man.
I hate being alone, because like I was like, I don't want to say forced to be alone, but like when I was injured, you know, 8 weeks I was
ended up happening.
laying in bed.
Yeah.
So then like
And usually the
now
worst,
that
yeah.
transitioned into I can't be alone. I have to be around people at least for some percentage of a week or a day.
There's very few humans that can survive being alone.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing that we just need people around us.
That's
to feel
right.
like at peace.
I always loved being in school more than being out of
I
school.
hate
Summertime.
winter breaks. We would have 3-week winter breaks, and by the 3rd week, I'd be like praying to go back to school, because
We
I
had 2
can't
weeks,
not
which
be
was
around
pretty
I
perfect.
feel you relate. Yeah.
And I mean, I was always like seeing everyone. It was more summer break.
Yeah,
So-
because
'Cause,
summer
like,
everyone's doing their own
School
thing.
break, it was perfect. I got to see everyone as much as I wanted to see them. I would go with seeing other people, like, I would enjoy seeing other people outside of school. But for the most part, I saw everyone as much as I wanted to see them. But it's like given to you. You don't have to. All you have to do is show up to school. But everyone has to show up to school, so it's great.
Yeah.
In the summer, you got to like
Put work into it.
plan and
Yeah.
put work
And
into
it's weird
that.
because if you don't have that like perfect click, then it's like it's harder to like meet up with individual friends and
Yeah.
everything. But
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things about the friendships you describe is that social life, as when I'm talking to a lot of people, social life is defined as a narrow way. And for me, for some reason, like social life, I always thought of it in a different way. Like I think one of the benefits of being in school is that you find I wrote this quote to myself and wrote it down like my phone because I thought it was really nice and like it's a very simple thing, simple idea, but it was also I wrote it because I thought like this is a period of my time where I felt the happiest. But I was literally just spent my hours doing what I love with people I love.
Yeah.
As simple as that. And when you're at school, like you get in the rhythm of things that you'll have activities throughout the day that you do, and you find people who do those same things, and then you hang out with them through those activities.
Yeah.
Right.
And-
And or that's like I have friends at the gym, or I have friends doing this other activity, or friends doing that other
Yeah.
activity, and it's like you kind of lose that when you're pulled out of that and sent home in a
Yeah.
way, which I can understand.
I think that's the cool thing about college too, is like when you're in your engineering 101 class, you all share the interest of, oh, I like engineering, so then it's automatically you all have that one connection. So
right.
it's
Like
easier
you
to
can
make
talk
friends.
about that. You can talk about what kind of engineering do you want to do? Why do you want to do it? What do you want to do with
What
that?
experiences did you go through that led you to this specific
Exactly.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I can relate to previous summers, like ending up not spending a lot of time with other people. But
Yeah.
I think I decided like this summer, going into my freshman year of college, that I want to do it a little bit differently. So I kind of just like made a list of 3 activities I love, and then made a list of all the people that like those activities. And then every week I try to like do one of those activities with one person. And it ended up, I don't know if it go that well, but it ended up working out really well. So literally my 3 activities were lifting, hiking, and podcasting.
There you go.
And then I have to podcast one person a week, so I'm already meeting one person a week.
Yeah.
Lifting, I just like end up. I went to a boarding school, so most of my friends are pretty spread out, either across
Yeah.
Jersey or the country. But I had a good amount of people I knew in Jersey, so either if I'm meeting like one friend every week, one friend every couple of weeks, like a lot of your close friends, you don't have to see them all the time, even if it's
Yeah.
an individual basis. I think friend groups make sense to meet them more often, but just individual friends, like lifting with them once a week, lifting with them once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And just like try to meet more people at the gym I went to, just so because we all go to the same gym, it's easier that way. So then I live with people, and then I would hike with people. I'd organize. My family likes hiking a lot, so mostly I do that with them. But then like once a month, I'll probably call up a friend and say, I'll do a hike with you. And I think like most people, when they think about the social life, they think about going out and doing all the social things, like going to like sports games, going out. But it's like I was very fulfilled all summer.
Yeah.
Because I was just doing what I love with people I love. And like I feel like I got a little bit of everything because I could still spend most of my day alone. Like so I have the perfect balance, and I feel like for the first time it actually worked out pretty well. Like this
That's
last
good.
summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. I was very fortunate. I got to take a 3-week vacation to Spain over the summer.
Amazing, bro.
It was a little stressful because for 2 weeks of it, we were just traveling around to different places in Spain, and you never got a break.
You get busy. Yeah. It's so tired. It's tiring.
It is, and that is how my immediate family likes to travel. My mom schedules the crap out of stuff, which look, it's awesome because you get to see so many cool things, but it's
You're on
such a
treadmill.
little amount of time. And like I just got used to that because that's just how we've done every vacation ever. Like I don't know, we're not the type of people that will sit back and do nothing
Like at a resort or something.
because that just gets boring.
Yeah.
You need a day or 2 of it, but you can't do it forever because it just gets boring. But the other people we're with, like my extended family a little bit, my cousins, like the sitting around at a beach or by a pool, that's the vacation they do. So they loved the vacation, but that was something new for them and something to get used to. So it got tense sometimes, but it was still so much fun and glad I got to do that. But other than that, I was like working, and
What were you working over the summer?
I worked at this auto ferry.
Oh,
So we took it was a very short trip. It was like 2 minutes from mainland, like a little town 10 minutes south of where I'm from, to this island. And yeah, only way onto the island. There was like weekdays you'd run 2 boats, weekends and Fridays you'd run 3 boats, just because it gets busy. You know, a lot of island's funny because there's either like really rich people who have giant houses, or not super rich people who like inherited places on the island, and it's just crazy because you see so many different types of people on there, and like that was cool because I would get to talk to a lot of different people. But
Yeah, I mean, you really get like to meet a lot of cool people through that. What's one of like the craziest people you've met? Craziest stories you remember?
craziest people.
Wild story, whatever you got. I got one after you.
You got
Let's
one?
hear yours.
Yeah.
I mean, I was filming a podcast on the beach, and I was waiting for my friend to pull up, and I'm just like over there, like looking at the beach, like trying to like visualize in my head. We're gonna set up. I have a big Amazon box. I'm gonna put the mic on top, and then we have 2 beach chairs. So I was like visualizing like how to figure this out, and there's like this classic like white surfer guy who's like in his 40s with like a long beard and a surfboard, and he's like sitting next to me. He's also looking out at the beach. And then I don't remember how the conversation started, but we started talking to each other, and we ended up talking for like 20 minutes about like a bunch of random topics. And yeah, we talked about surfing. We started talking about surfing, and then I don't know how the conversation flowed. We talked about AI. We talked about the bridge collapsed in like Philly. And we talked about like boats, and we just talked about a whole lot of random topics. And then my friend pulled up 20, 30 minutes later. He's a little late, but I didn't even realize because I was just talking the whole time. I felt like I just did a whole podcast there before the podcast.
That is chill.
Yeah.
Those are always the best when you're just talking. You know what I mean?
That's why I love doing this.
Yeah.
It is fun, yeah. Not a crazy person story, but the boat doesn't stop running for anything unless there's ice in the river physically blocking the boat from going. Even then, there's a strong current in the river, so it's like it hasn't froze over in a long time, and like icebreakers will come through and break everything up. So there'll be like ice in the river, but it's not frozen solid, frozen across. It's just kind of like there, almost little icebergs. But
it's like impeding the flow of the boat, right?
Yeah. I didn't work in the winter because I always focused on school and school activities during the school year, but so I didn't experience winter shifts. Thank the Lord, that would have sucked. But there was one time it was a thunderstorm, and it was like an hour-long thunderstorm, super short, and I only was working 4 hours that day. I was super happy. But I was on the boat. We had this huge box truck, super windy, just pouring down rain, and we're trying to dock the boat, but the wind was so strong, and this truck was huge, and it was acting as like a sail almost. And there's 2 engines on the boat, both of them full throttle trying to get into the dock, and like we couldn't dock because the wind was so strong. So yeah, that was pretty insane, just like being in there, and like you kind of think about that, like, you know, these people are relying on us to get home right now or go visit somebody, and you know, it's like I have always hated the rain, but you just got to suck it up because people are relying on you, and this is your job, and you got to get it done.
It's incredible, man. Do you always hate the rain, or was it just that instant, or like in that
I've
situation?
always hated the rain. Being wet in general, like if you poured water on me right now, I'd be pissed.
Let's try it.
No, like if I'm in a bathing suit and I like intend to get wet, okay, yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, that's not
fine.
rain really. It's like you going in the water.
Yeah, exactly. I'm perfectly fine with that. I love swimming. I like boats, but if I don't plan on getting wet, I'm not gonna be a happy camper.
You like the rain?
I don't mind the rain. It
I
doesn't
love
rain
rain.
a lot where I'm from, so it's
Cali?
nice seeing it. Yeah.
You're SoCal, right?
I'm in Central California.
Central.
So like
You're near San Jose, right?
yeah, like an
Okay.
hour. An hour. So we were in a drought for like 8 years, so they would like come to school and teach us like, okay.
Like it hadn't rained once in that.
It rained, but
Or
it was
very minimal.
yeah. So they would like come to school and be like, okay, you know, shut the water off while you're brushing your teeth, and like, you know, stuff like that. They were really big into that.
You
So.
never know what can happen. So it's all.
And
it's
a
crazy.
drought is huge in like agriculture, you know what I mean? So like it was a big. We
You-
finally got rain a little bit.
You mentioned that agriculture is like one of the biggest economies over there too, right?
Yeah, so my I say this all the time. My town processes like 95% of the world's tomatoes. So any tomato you've eaten has come from like one of the 3 companies that are like right outside of my town.
Incredible.
We have like a tomato festival.
Well, thank you for your tomatoes, man.
Yeah.
I'll go to Chipotle next, so
Yeah.
I'll make sure to thank you.
We have tomatoes, almonds, big into cotton. That's about it, yeah.
Incredible, man.
Yeah.
So, it's rained a couple times here. Is like whatever it does rain there, like is it like a full-on rain or is it like a drizzle?
Last year we had some big rain days, maybe like
Like
3
it
or
would just
4.
come out, like let it all out at once.
Yeah, it would just let it all out at once. But it would drizzle a little bit, sometimes. It
Gotcha.
depends. But before, it would like never really rain at all.
I love the rain.
I love being inside during the rain.
And looking at it from the window.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
I like sitting
it's
on, like, the
beautiful.
porch.
I love that because then I can stay inside and feel okay about staying inside and be happy that I'm inside.
I think like we all have weird things about ourselves from just childhood that's been a fascination with us. Like for me, I've always had a fascination with unpredictability. It's a weird thing.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
There's pleasure in not knowing everything, right?
Yeah.
I think that's always kind of cool.
And for some reason, because of that,
What's
sorry.
a example?
Like the weather. Like I've not checked the weather app in probably 8 years because I like to go out not knowing what the weather's gonna be like and just like seeing what it's gonna be like.
And here it changes so quick. The other day I left for class, it was 75 and I was wearing jeans and a shirt. And then I walk out of my class and it's pouring. And I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Wait, was that on Tuesday?
I think so.
Welcome to Michigan.
Yeah.
I had a class on North Campus. And
Yeah.
I had a 3 o'clock, 3 to 4:30.
Okay.
So it was really nice outside. It was an incredible day. I was smiling, like I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Then I go in my lecture, I walk out, it's like pouring rain. I'm like, part of me was like, that's cool. Like that's the unpredictable part of it. I go out and I'm like enjoying it.
Yeah, for sure.
I like all kinds of weather.
Yeah.
How bad does it snow in Jersey?
Not that bad. I have fond memories of it being worse when I was younger. I think it's gotten like over the years it's gotten like better in terms of like not as many extreme snowstorms or anything. The winter prior to this one there was like nothing, but this last winter we had a couple good snow days.
The last 2 winters we had almost nothing.
Yeah, that's what
I've heard.
It should be.
UP said there was like nothing this last winter.
Yeah.
Either.
This
And that's
year I think
further
it's going to go
north,
crazy.
Yeah, it is wild. I've heard this was gonna be a good one.
I hope so.
Excited for it. I mean, for me, like I love all kinds of weather. If it's like 100 degrees outside, like I'll feel lazy and stuff, but like it's kind of a vibe.
No.
And then
I
it's
like
like
the heat.
cold as shit. I'm like, I like this too.
We had 100 days in a row over 100 degrees.
Maybe that's a little different.
And that is terrible because then it's just draining. It'll get up to like 115.
What do you think is the worst weather, like extreme wise, like
Uh,
extreme rain, extreme snow, extreme heat, extreme cold? Like, what's
The
the
heat.
I'd say heat.
Because cold, you can put more clothes on,
Yeah.
but you can only take so
Can't
many
take nothing
clothes
out.
off, and you just have to deal with it.
I like the heat.
I don't. See, it's because you grew up in the cold, so you like
Yeah.
the heat, and I grew up in the heat.
I
like the
love
cold.
the heat.
I can't handle. I mean, I can handle it, but it's a lot harder to
heat?
handle it.
Yeah.
When I went to India over the summer, we were in the region of the Northeast called Assam, where my dad's family's from, and it was probably some of the worst heat I felt. I don't remember the temperature because I didn't check the weather app, but it was pretty bad. And I think it's worse because we don't have air conditioning where we lived.
Yeah.
So
That's crazy.
because it's a very remote area. I think they have like mini air conditioners, but like we also lose electricity for the entire day. It's pretty remote. But yeah, the gym we worked out at, it was very much a small mom and pop kind of gym. Where like
That's
it's
tough, though.
it's
Those are the
probably
best.
I might be exaggerating, but maybe the size of this room, maybe a little bigger.
Those are
But
the
it's like
best.
filled with equipment. The aux, anyone can hop on the aux. Everybody knows each other. There's like 5 or 6 guys in there, but like people just hopping on the aux. I hop on the aux sometimes and play my music, and it's no AC, so they have fans all across the room. It was such a vibe, bro.
Yeah, those are
You look out the window, like the city and
So
everything.
you're just
Was
sweating
it just like
bullets.
old iron plates and stuff?
It was like normal plates, like rubber. Like, rubber's a material that have you
Yeah.
been to LA
They're like
Fitness?
rubber coated.
It's we called them not plates, but bumpers.
Here, I'll show. Yeah, let me show you.
Well, those are like deadlift ones.
Yeah.
Like
It was like the LA Fitness ones.
your dad's from India?
Yeah, both my dad and my mom.
What part?
Do you know Assam?
I
I'll show you on the
don't.
map here.
Yeah.
Like it was like these kinds,
Oh, okay, yeah.
but
like bumper
maybe
plates,
a little. Yeah, they're bumper plates. What material? Are they made of rubber?
Yeah.
Okay.
There might be iron inside.
Yeah, it's like rubber coated.
It's coated, yeah. I'll show you the map where I'm from. So, my mom, you know Delhi, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's over here. That's where my mom is from.
Okay.
I think my dad was born there, but his dad was, my grandfather was in the Air Force, so he's been all across.
Oh, that's cool.
Because he traveled with them. But right over here is Assam. Like it's kind of like through this little thing.
I didn't even know that was a part.
Yeah,
of
it
India.
is. This is all India right here. And this is Assam, the state, and it borders China where we are. So we're really close to
Oh wow.
China. So this river right here, let me pull up another map.
Okay.
This is the Brahmaputra River, I'm pretty sure. So like we were, Jorhat is where we're from. Do you see that anywhere?
What'd you say?
Let me search it up. There.
Okay. That's where your dad's
Yeah.
from?
Right here is where we were over the summer. But yeah, man.
Oh, over the summer?
Because I visited back. We went to Delhi there, and we went to a region over here as well, which is pretty cool. But yeah.
My girlfriend's Punjabi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Amazing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Was she?
Jaspreet. Hello.
So I'm assuming she's from the north, and right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
Her mom's and her dad were both like from there. So
And they moved here.
Yeah.
So she was born here.
Yeah, she was born here.
Yeah, I was born here too. My parents moved here like in 2000, I think.
Okay.
Sometime around then.
Yeah.
Cool, man. What does your lineages go back to?
Hmm?
Do you know where your lineages date back to?
A lot of German.
German.
I don't know. I don't really know on my dad's side. I know we're like, cause we're from the UP, so it's what big.
German.
It's German, yeah. But my mom's side, my grandma's from Mexico,
Ooh.
and my grandpa's from. My grandma was born in Mexico. She didn't speak English till she was like 6 years old, and then my grandpa is from Oklahoma, so he's like Mexican and Native American.
That's cool, man.
Yeah.
So what's the history of Germans coming to the U.S.? Like, what areas were they in? Like, what years was the main
They were
immigration?
big in Michigan, in the UP.
Big Michigan, Midwest.
Because it was
a lot
mining,
of that.
right? In the UP.
What
I know
years
that's why they
was the major immigration?
Yeah, mining. 1800s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was similar atmosphere, climate, so kind of just settled here. They didn't want to
And
be too
similar
hot.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, man.
I forget what they mined in Germany, but it was a really easy transition to come to the UP because
Well, they
there's a
have
lot
over
of
here.
iron ore
Iron ore.
mines.
Copper mines in the UP too.
Yeah. Like where my dad's from, it's right by Iron Mountain.
Yeah.
And then there's Iron River, and then like stuff like that. They're all named after that.
That's funny.
They said there's also a lot of farmers who came from
Yep.
German, and it says here there's also a second large overflow during World War One. So
My mom's side is like all German farmers.
okay.
So my grandpa was the youngest of 5 boys, and
Oh yeah,
I think his grandpa might have come from Germany. I don't
Okay.
know for sure, but I think his grandpa also like bought some property where they live now, and now like most of my mom's family lives on this half-mile stretch of dirt road in the country in small town Michigan.
Amazing.
So,
Yeah.
but they're still farmers. Like my mom's dad would have to wake up at 4 a.m. every morning to go milk the cows. Like that was their reality. Like that's what they had to do. And I think that's super cool. I would love to work on a farm. And
Yeah,
have
farm
my
life
own
is cool,
farm.
man. I mean, me in particular, the part that's attractive to me about farm life is like the health of
yeah.
the food
And
I guess.
growing
Just
your own
natural.
stuff.
Yeah, I want to do that when I'm older for sure.
Making your own thing. Like I love Legos, and just like you created this with instructions, but you made it, and I feel like you
Fuck, I forgot, man.
feel like more like attached to it when you make it yourself and you put time and effort into it. And I feel like that's half the thing with farming too, because you make it yourself.
Yeah, you're part of the creative process.
Right.
I forgot. Did I tell you this? I had the idea of like building Legos with you guys on the podcast. How we talked.
That would have been.
I was
sweet.
thinking about bringing some down here. I'm gonna be so for real. We can. There's multiple podcasts.
Yeah, we'll
can
do another
it
one.
again.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do another one.
Definitely.
100%.
We'll build Legos next
I'm
podcast.
always down to drop.
Don't let me
it.
forget.
Yeah.
Hope we don't get too distracted. We're literally just talking about the Legos the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Talking about nothing else.
Dude, that'd be sweet though.
Yeah,
would be
I
sick.
think sometimes we don't realize how integrated we are into the system of society.
Yeah.
That if we didn't have any of it, like if it all ended right now, like we would not know how to survive. at all.
Yeah, no.
Like we've lost everything. We don't know how. But if we didn't have the whole.
There's a book some guy wrote where it was like building a microwave from scratch, and he went, like he got every little piece of the microwave he had to do because he was like
There's a whole book about this.
Yeah, and like he would have to go to different countries and mine this type of metal and do this, and because he was like, because you always think of like, oh, if I went back to the caveman and showed him my iPhone, and like I could be like, okay, like here's the iPhone. You don't know how to make an iPhone. You don't know how to make anything, a microphone.
What's fascinating to me is that if you look around in the world, we don't know why half the shit works.
Yeah, you just accept it. You're just like, okay, there's a microphone. Like picks up our voice.
I'm saying stuff and it's recording it.
Yeah.
Like, everything now is so catered to just being able to use something the easiest way possible. 99% of the vehicles sold in America are an automatic transmission.
Yes.
2 pedals. And on Teslas, it's pretty much 1 pedal, and as soon as you let off the accelerator,
It starts
to
braking on
brake.
its own. I've seen that. My friend is a Tesla.
So dumb.
Yeah, my girlfriend has one. It sucks because it's definitely a learning curve.
I love coasting. I know how to drive manual. He does too.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
In India, all we got is
3-speed.
manual. We have
Yeah.
very few automatic in India, so
Yeah.
I don't know how to drive manual. I've not tried yet.
Great skill to learn.
Yeah.
I love it's.
And it's also anti-theft. Like no one will steal my truck because they don't know how to do it.
No one knows how to drive it.
Especially mine's here, which they stopped making that in like the 70s.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
it's
that's
3-speed.
you don't have the third one over there.
I do.
Oh.
But it's not like.
Oh,
usually
you
shift
this
here.
the shifter
You
is
shift
on.
You're
here.
like lifting up here.
So it's like first,
Yeah,
second,
yeah, the
third,
6 gears,
and
right?
reverse. There's 3.
There's
Mine's
3.
a 3-speed.
Okay.
Usually they're 6 or 5.
Yeah.
Newer ones are going to be 6 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make 3-speeds anymore really either. It's really slow.
It's very rare. Yeah.
Porsche made a 7-speed, and
A
Ford
7?
does too. Ford has a 7-speed in the Bronco. No one buys a manual Bronco. They're badass. I would totally get one, but it's reverse, which is not counted as a gear. But then the first gear is a crawler gear that you don't use for like regular driving, but it's a 7th speed. So.
Yeah, my first gear is literally basically just to get it started moving, because you can't downshift into first. It's literally just to get it started moving, and then you never use it. You're always in third, pretty much.
So the way my car is designed, it's automatic right now.
What do you drive?
No, I mean it's not mine. The car my dad drives, but my mom has a Mercedes Benz. I don't know which model.
Yeah.
450. I don't know.
Is it a sedan or a SUV?
Blow
I got this.
I'll tell you guys because you guys.
I
like cars.
understand BMW's naming system. I don't understand Mercedes very well. And Audi's is super easy.
Mercedes.
So yeah, it's like A3 is the bottom.
It's if you want a regular sedan, it's an A. If you want
I
a
think it's
sporty
this one.
sedan,
The GLA40.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so the inside the car, I can probably show
Is
you
it
the actual-
super like luxurious?
I'd say so. Like we have this handle, right? There's
Okay.
no purpose of this handle. It's just a handle. It doesn't even
Really?
move. It's just there. I don't know why it's there. But since my dad used to drive manual like for his whole life in India,
He holds it.
like he doesn't move. You can't move it. Like
Yeah.
but like sometimes I look over him driving. Like he has one hand on the thing. And he's just grabbing for no reason.
That's
It honestly
instinct.
makes sense.
my car's an automatic, and I'll like have my hand on the shift knob sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't need to do that.
That's hilarious.
I'll go from driving my truck. Like I'll drive my truck.
Which
one
truck
day.
do you have?
It's a '68 Dodge.
Look at it. Look at it.
Here, I'll show. I can't.
You don't have your
put a
phone?
picture. I'll show you what it is. It's super nice.
I won't-
300
I won't be putting
bucks.
all this on the screen. So.
$300.
I got it for $300 from my dad's old coworker.
Amazing, man.
And then
And you really fixed it up, right?
yeah, but I would go from driving this. Let me find. It looks pretty much like this. It's like
Yeah, it does.
rusty and
Whoa. You seen it?
I know what it looks
it's super
That's
nice.
an epic car.
But anyways, I go from
Those are
driving
cool.
that the third pedal, and then like the next morning I would drive my Sequoia and I'd go to hit the third pedal and I'd hit the brakes and just like launch forward.
It's amazing.
I don't do that, but if
I've done it like twice.
my dad's car is a manual, a newer 6-speed, and like if I'm driving that for a while, because I love driving that car. Go ahead.
Keep going.
But like I'll drive that for a while, and braking is clutch then brake.
Yeah, clutch
Yeah.
then brake.
And I go back to a regular car and I'll clutch
Then you
then
miss.
brake. I'm like, shoot,
Then you
didn't
missed
need to
it.
do that.
You hit the thing.
I've never hit the maybe
I
once,
accidentally clipped the brake and I was like,
but yeah. a lot of times it'll be like I'll push and it's like, oh, don't need to do that.
You know what? Next time I'm in India, I'm gonna learn just so I can tell you guys
Yeah.
I can drive a manual car now.
Yeah, you just gotta like.
It can't be that hard.
Once you learn it,
You can't
once,
be talented at it. Yeah, you literally just need to practice and do it. That's all it is.
Incredible, man.
I struggle with like regular 6-speeds though because I'm used to here. I'm not used to like catching the gears.
Yeah.
But it's
like,
the
I start
same,
reaching up here, nothing's here.
Yeah, it's the same idea though. Like do you know.
Yeah.
It's
I probably would need help driving your truck. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. You know, like, you guys have like experiences that have shaped the pathway for your interests in cars, where you've had like experience like building a pickup truck, or just from the big get-go you love cars. And a lot of people I've talked to who have some kind of specific interest in something that fascinates them, they've always had these childhood stories and stuff. And for me, one thing about my childhood is that I always thought I liked cars too, because if you saw like my Hot Wheels collection, like cars are the toy I'd play with the most.
Yeah.
I had in my basement I had all these tracks, all intermaneuvered. I just love driving them around. I had a huge bucket of cars, driving them. I played, do you know Need for Speed Most Wanted?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like one of my favorite games growing up. I'll pull it up. The soundtrack of the game is amazing. I played the 2012 version, and I played that game a lot, and I just loved it. And when I remember, I also went through this phase like when I was pretty young. This game right here.
Okay.
It's like, this is a racing game. Like, you just drive around and explore.
WRX.
Did you ever play like Forza?
See, here's the thing. I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
So I did play Forza at my friend's house a couple times, but for some reason I never enjoyed Forza. But I really enjoyed this game, and I'll tell you why I didn't enjoy Forza. I know now. And there are also things like whenever we drive somewhere, I just enjoyed it. And when I started driving last summer, I actually loved it more than anything in the world.
Like
it
actual
was
driving?
Yeah, when I was starting to drive an actual car, like it was.
I
So
love driving.
anyone who'd hear that story just thinks I probably like love cars a lot, but I've realized now that it was never a love for cars.
Oh, I think you told us about this. You like?
Did I?
Yeah.
It was a love for exploration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was like, when it hit me like that, it's like, it made perfect sense because I never cared what car I was driving.
Yeah.
I would like sometimes in that game over there, I just had a joke like pick up some like shitty ass car and start driving it around, because in that game over there, it's you can the way it works, there's a whole map, and you can explore the whole map, and then there's races you can do around the map and pick up cars and stuff. That's why I never enjoyed Forza, because I'm just racing and there's nothing going on. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I figured that out, like every time I drive, I just feel like I'm in paradise. Like when I went home over the weekend, like that just felt like
Yeah. How'd
paradise.
your core day go?
That went well. We can talk about it here now. It's all done now. If you want to know the story.
Yeah, let's hear it.
You want to hear the score story? Okay. So, thing is, I've kind of got sick of the story because I feel like every time I'm going home, I have to tell them why I'm going home, and then I say the story, and I've said the story like 100 times now. But I'll try to have fun with this one and tell the full story. So yeah, I can even pull up pictures to make this even more real. So I'm driving in my mom's car, the Mercedes. How do you pronounce it? Mercedes or Mercedes?
Mercedes.
Mercedes. Yeah. My mom's Mercedes-Benz GLE 450. Needs servicing. And my dad is really busy. I think he's traveling somewhere. And my mom's in meetings all day. So I'm like, I'll get it done. I'll get the servicing done. So I drive it down about 20 minutes from our house to the Mercedes-Benz Racatina, whatever, and drop it off and, do the paperwork, whatever. And then they give me a rental car to drive back home. Right. And I'm driving that car. And first of all, I'm 17.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't going to end well.
Yeah. So it's already like a little bit over risk, but I'll be like, they just gave it to me. Like,
Yeah.
Like, blame them, not me.
For a rental car.
It's not. It's like a.
But it's
what's
going to
the-
be different for a dealership, right? 'Cause
Maybe it's different
a
for a
loaner
dealership.
car.
I've driven rental cars before because people have let me drive rental cars. So when I went
You're
to,
not supposed to, but
I think when I visited Michigan for the first time in March, I was 17 earlier this year, and I showed them my driver's license and they let me drive a rental car. They put my name down the thing. So I'm
Really?
like, I'll take it. It's happened twice so far. Most times they reject me, but twice so far I've been able to drive a rental car. I mean, no, that time at the Mercedes-Benz shop, and then this time at Michigan. So when I first came here, like I was driving around like these streets, and I was like having a lot of fun. And I was in some like, Ford. I don't remember the exact model, but I was in some Ford car, and it was a lot of fun. We were driving around, and they let me drive. So I thought maybe some people let you, some people don't. But the guy at the Mercedes-Benz shop let me. It's not called a rental car. It's called something else.
a loaner car.
Loaner car, yeah. Maybe there's different rules with loaner cars, but he ended up giving it to me. It was fine. I'm driving back home, and this is what I'll pull up. I'll go on Google Earth to show you exactly where I was, just to make the story epic. This podcast gonna need a lot of editing to put all these on the screen.
I can send you an actual picture of my truck.
Oh yeah, send me anything we talk about today you remember. Just send me pictures of it. I'll put the actual pictures up. So, oh, I can't say the name out loud. I'll have to cut that out. I want them to know where I live. Okay, I'm on this road. I'm not gonna put this up on the screen. They'll know where I live.
Yeah,
That's smart.
I'm gonna mouth.
Oh,
to
that's
the camera.
that's the gym I went to a while back. But somewhere I was at. I was
Oh, a little golf course.
yeah, we do. I was over here. All right.
Okay.
Sorry for the viewers. You're gonna have to deal with me for a little bit. Oh, this is. Wait, can I not? Oh yeah, I gotta hit this. All right, so I'm just cruising in my little loaner vehicle. This is where I am.
That looks like Jersey.
Then that's my car. Yeah, this is Jersey right here.
Jersey.
Nah, this will bring back memories. Anyways, I'm driving like this way. This is the turn I'm at, alright?
Uh-huh.
So, as you can see here, this is shitty as fuck. What is it doing? Alright, so where this, I'm on this lane. The light
Yeah.
is green, okay? So I pull up in this left lane, trying to make turn over here, right? And I stop the car right here.
Yep.
And I'm waiting for oncoming traffic to come.
Yeah,
Come.
like
you're
you
supposed to
do. Uh-huh.
Yeah. The light turns yellow.
Yep.
And there's still cars coming, like, we're cruising. And as soon as, let's say this guy's right here, and the light turns red.
Well, you have to get out of the intersection.
No, I have to, like, turn while he's there so I can crash him, because I'm not allowed to turn on a red, right?
Oh.
So that's what he was saying. Anyways, but, I wait for him to pass, okay, he's gone. And, look, there's even a sign that says here, look, do not block intersection.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm supposed to turn and, like,
Yeah.
get out of there. Anyways, so he passes and I turn, and I finish it like everyone does, even though it's red. And I hear the wee. Anyways, that was like posted up. I don't know where he's posted up. He's posted up somewhere waiting for me to do something. And also September 30th, and it's probably the most cops I've ever seen on the road. So they were,
Yeah,
May
'cause they're
30th.
trying to
May
get
30th.
people.
Yeah, so it was the end of the month. So yeah, anyways, I make the turn, and I drive down for like a good while, and then he pulls me over. And yeah, he gives me a ticket for turning at a red light. I didn't fight back because it's the first time I got a ticket, and I actually didn't know whether what I did was legal or not. Because I started questioning myself, like, was that legal? For my head, like, I've seen everyone do that for all.
Yeah.
Whenever I drive, so I thought it's probably legal. So I didn't fight back, and I just took the ticket. And then I'm like, I was scared to tell my dad, but eventually I told my dad. And then, yeah, so I went to court on Zoom.
So you drove all the way home to go to court?
This is
on
over the
Zoom?
summer.
Oh.
So this happened on May 30th, 2024. Sometime in June, I have a court hearing on Zoom. And I was first to meet with the prosecutor. And the prosecutor gives you a plea bargain. So he says, I can take the 2 points off your license and you can pay a fine. And I'm like, no, I don't deserve this. So I say, I'm going to plead not guilty. All right. And he's like, all right. And he was like kind of laughing a little bit like, all right, bro. Good luck. And so yeah, that happens, and then a couple weeks later, I call them and said that if I'm not in the area for my court hearing, can I reschedule it or put it on Zoom? And they say, yeah, no problem. Send us documentation you're not in the area. If you're a student, just send us like something confirming you're a student. We can always reschedule you, or we can potentially put you on Zoom. So I'm like, okay, we're chilling. So they gave me my court date for September 30th. All right, and so I did exactly what he told me to do. I sent him the documentation. I showed him I sent him a lot of stuff, like confirming that I'm a Michigan student, like all the documentation stuff, and you never get a response back. So I called back in 2 weeks. He says, sorry, the guy that you talked to is not in the office today. I'll call you back. And I just kept calling him back like every few days. And then like, yeah, sorry, you gotta come in person now. I'm like, bro. So yeah, I flew back, and the bargain I got now was that I pay a $57 fine, $90 fine with the court costs, and I have to. They put the 2 points on my license, but if I take a driving course online for 30 minutes, which technically takes like 15 minutes, then they'll take 2 points off. So that's where I'm at.
Nice.
Sweet.
So this time I accepted the plea bargain because
that is
I'm like,
chill.
I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to come back and fight. So I was like,
That's so
That's my fault.
stupid, though. Like, what else do you do there?
It would be different if you were behind the white line and hadn't already
Yeah.
begun turning.
Yeah, but
you were in the
no
middle
one
of
does
intersection.
that.
Yeah.
no one does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good experience though.
Yeah, if
I
you
mean,
don't
now
do that, you're gonna get honked at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
or you're gonna get hit because
Uh-huh.
someone's coming this way.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good time.
Life lessons.
But I will say I would have never been able to go home if it wasn't for the court case and see all my good friends and my family, and it was
That's
a
true.
good weekend.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. We went out for
Bright
dinner.
side.
It was a good time. And now I'm back here, and I'm going back next weekend for fall.
Yeah, I'm going home next.
What are your guys' plans for?
I'm gonna fly out Friday night and then come back.
You have any plans for back home? Just chilling.
Just hang out with my girlfriend. It's
Amazing.
been hard being away from her, so spend
Yeah.
time with her, spend
Where
time
does
with
she
my
go?
family. She's at this place called the Gurnick Academy in Fresno, so it's like a nursing program. So
Cool.
she'll spend a year, and then she'll start working in the hospital while still going to school.
Oh.
So she'll make like $30 an hour while still being in school, and after a year. So it's amazing.
I met a lot of nursing students.
Yeah.
over here.
Really?
I met 4.
I've met
Really?
none.
I haven't met any.
And like some of them are probably some of the closest people I met so far.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, she just started, so she's excited.
She's enjoying it so
Yeah.
far?
Yeah.
That's
It's
so cool.
There's a lot of older people in, because it's not like a university, it's an academy. So there's a lot of like 30-year-olds in there, and like
Third year old.
30.
30-year-olds.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So then she was like laughing about that because it was kind of weird because there was like moms asking her questions about like Google and stuff.
In her class.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting, man.
Yeah.
Is that a common thing? Like these academy things, are they across the country? Like, is it like a normal thing?
I think there's a couple of that specific like brand name, in California, but it's like in Fresno, so it's like an hour. She used to live in Fresno, so it's like an hour from where I live.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
What are your plans for fall break?
Go home. Well, it's our birthday next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So
Who's our? You have the same
We have the
birthdays?
same birthday, except I'm a year older than him.
Yeah.
And you tell me you don't believe in fate? No.
And my dad's name.
Oh, you're a year older.
Yeah.
So you're 19 right now?
No, I'm 18.
You're gonna turn
He's
19.
young. Yeah, I'm gonna turn.
And
19.
you're going to turn 18.
My dad's
you're
name
really
is
young.
Noah too.
His middle name's Noah.
My middle name's Noah.
Amazing.
One of my middle names.
How many middle names you got, bro?
2.
Okay, what is it?
My full name is Grant Noah Blackwood Jones.
Blackwood. I like Blackwood.
That's my mom's maiden
So
name. 'Cause
badass.
Blackwood is badass.
My mom, everyone has the same reaction too. Dude, that's so
Dude,
sick.
if I was you and I had a podcast, I'd call it The Blackwood Show.
Yeah. My mom is like the oldest of 5 girls, so like my grandpa didn't have any sons, so they like gave us his last name to continue the name.
Wow.
So
that's
it works.
great, man.
Yeah, it's cool.
Do you guys want to have big families or family? Like, what are you guys' thoughts on
I
that?
have a big family.
What do you like when you're older? Like, when you have your own family? You have thoughts on that?
2 to 4.
Yeah,
4.
I think 3. I'm good with 3.
Okay.
I like 3.
At least 5 for me.
5?
Holy.
Really?
Dude, I want a big family.
Really?
That's like,
I respect it.
How
be
many
fun.
siblings do you have?
I have 1.
Oh.
So it's like,
Older
like
or
small.
younger?
Younger.
Okay.
When you have you want to go to small school, you want to go to big school. You have a small family, you kind of want a big one then.
How much younger?
She's like 4 years, so
Okay.
we're almost like exactly aligned. Like, she's a freshman, I'm a freshman. Kind
That's
of.
how
guys-
me and my sister are too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
that's how
older?
me and my
She's
sister
younger.
are.
Cool. Where she goes to school, like in where you're from in Michigan?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
My sister's 4 years older.
Oh,
So like like the same thing, but like I'm the younger one.
Actually, my sister is exactly 3.5 years younger than me. She was
3.5.
born 3
Mine's about
years and
3.5.
6 months.
Like exactly
to the day. My birthday's October 8th. Her birthday's April 8th.
okay, I'm close, but like not that close.
Yeah.
We're about like 5 or 6 months apart.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's cool, man. Well, I'm starving, but
Yeah.
it's been a great discussion. I know you guys have to
We
get
gotta
to
go.
hockey
Eat real
game.
quick.
What time is it? Yeah, I'm hungry.
Who's playing tonight for hockey?
We play
Minnesota State.
Ooh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It was a pleasure talking to you guys about
Yeah,
cars
dude,
and
me
life
too.
and friendships. And
We'll have to do this
happy to
again.
do this again. We could
Yeah,
build Legos next time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But
We
yeah,
can each bring our own.
really enjoy this. So
Yeah.
appreciate you guys coming on.
Of course, yeah.
All right, see you guys.
See ya. We can pack everything up. Where do these come from?
I'll call you Black. Thank you for tuning in to my episode. If you enjoyed that episode, I guarantee that you'll love this episode right here. The best way to support the channel is by hitting the subscribe button. It'll help me to upgrade the channel, get better guests, better production, and overall more episodes for you. And by hitting the subscribe button, you'll ensure that you'll never miss a new release. While you're at it, hit the like button, leave a comment, and share the link with your best friend. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.